Okay, welcome back everybody. Now, one of the other Halloween stories I want to tell, I actually, and I have to mention this here, in the past few months I've been inspired to, I've been kind of doing some writing and doing a book. You know, I've been doing everything except going loose, but to be honest, in fact, the first chapter, and I've got to tie this back into my one aunt and uncle that I mentioned before in a previous video about their youngest boy dressed up as Michael Myers. I went to like another one of my aunt's houses to do that, and then did that at their own house. Oh, it was pretty funny. We had the best time with that. But this uncle, it's the late husband of my mom's sister, one sister, told me a story. And I included this in the first chapter of my book that I started writing. Now, if I could just find a publisher for it, I'd be a happy camper. The story that he told me, I'm going to basically tell you here. And I actually told this story on 550 WKRC back in 1993, I'm sorry, I had to think, on Halloween of 93. And I would love to get the tape of that whole show. You know, my brother was the first caller in on that show, and I was like one of the later callers. I didn't even know I was on the radio, to be completely honest. I mean, my mom, you know, I recorded it upstairs, and God help me, I would love to know, like, what happened to that tape, and I would love to get a copy of it. So anybody from 55 WKRC AM in Cincinnati, if you're watching this, please send me a copy of that tape from that night. It was Halloween of 1993. If you've got a copy of it, please send me duplicates. I mean, you know, like a copy from me, and a copy from my parents, and a copy from my brother. Please, I would be thrilled. Okay, but here's the story that I told on that radio show that night, and this is the first chapter in that book that I wrote. Several years ago in a local town here called Wilder, there's a street called 3 Mile Road. It's an isolated road with a few houses, sparsely dispersed down the road. Sunrock Farm is down there, for those of you that are local and, you know, kind of generally know where I'm talking about. The road connects, 3 Mile Road connects NKU, Northern Kentucky University, to what used to be part of Kentucky State Route 9. It's now rerouted through Johns Hill. Now it's just exclusively Johns Hill where it lets out. My grandparents, my mom's parents, I should mention, had a house there. They've since torn it down. In my grandparents' house, here's my grandparents' house, the road snaked behind there, and St. John the Baptist Church up the hill from where my grandparents lived. Well, one night, several years ago, and this was, you know, right about the time that cars were coming out, you know, and people walked everywhere, just about. But like I mentioned, Wilder isn't that developed of a city. This lady had walked into town to Newport, which is the next town. Fort Thomas and Newport are like here, and Wilder's right against the Licking River. This lady had went into town, into Newport, and bought groceries, because Newport's got a grocery store, an active grocery store there. But the lady was walking home on 3 Mile Road. She was walking with an armful of groceries, and she was on 3 Mile Road. This car full of boys drove past, or happened to come past and see her. And the boys, it was Halloween night, and the boys were feeling rather roguish, and they decided to attack this woman. What ends up happening, I will tell in the next video.